The growth of the electric vehicle or EV market has been nothing short of electrifying. In 2010, there were 17,000 electric cars on the world's roads. By 2019, that had grown to 7.2 million. 47% of those electric cars were in one place alone, China. And 99% of the world's electric buses are found in China. China is also a major manufacturer of electric vehicles. But industry watchers say the pioneers in the market there were not homegrown names.
The first brand name EV company that came into China was not one of the startups, actually Tesla. Right? Tesla came in about 2013, 2014. I think that actually inspired many of these EV startups as well.
Previously, the EV market in China was dominated by local automakers that mostly are traditional automakers. So previously, we don't see them focusing on the high-end part of the EV market. So in recent years, we've got all these new Chinese EV startups benchmarking their products to Tesla. So they actually started from the high end.
China's electric vehicle manufacturers are now accelerating their international growth plans. All three leaders in the domestic EV sector have successfully listed in the United States. Frontrunner NIO listed on the New York Stock Exchange in 2018. Its shares have climbed over 300% since. In July this year, Chinese EV startup Li Auto debuted on the Nasdaq, raising $1.1 billion. And it was followed by XPeng's blockbuster listing on the New York Stock Exchange in August.
I think many want to go to US because US has the cutting edge technologies, and they want to keep and adapted to the most advanced technologies, for example, in terms of autonomous driving and connected cars technologies.
The US market is highly attractive because it's highly liquid, right? So in terms of getting price transparency of your stock there, that's the number one market.
These Chinese EV startups have also sought to stand out with their attractive prices. A compact SUV by NIO is priced about 25% lower than Tesla's direct rival, the Model Y.
The reason why they can undercut prices is because they tend to prioritize volume over profitability. So I would say in the near term, all these EV startups will prioritize volume. Their priority is to ramp up volume. Volume comes before profitability.
On top of that, Chinese EV companies are focusing on building a brand name.
We cannot completely ignore the brand in the whole discussion. Being an old marketeer in brackets and having planned to launch a new EV, new brand into China and the world, I look quite in depth into what does that mean. And the basic struggles a brand like NIO had was mainly because of low sales numbers in the beginning and high marketing expenses, very high marketing expenses to get a new brand known in the market, especially in a market like China, the biggest car market in the world. You have probably more than 400 brands operating in China.
Ultimately, the growth of these companies have to translate to profits. Tesla took a decade to turn in an annual profit. Will it be the same story for the Chinese EVs?
It's very hard to make a good margin on a new car sale, right? Which means that you have to find other ways of monetizing your product, whether it's through subscription services or providing value-added services or selling the data. I believe that is the path of profitability to all these EV players.
It will be very difficult to make profit. That's why they all need minimum 1, 2, 3 rounds of funding. They go to IPO, but even that won't be enough to see them through. So all in all, between 5 and 8 billion euros you need to get it up and running. with the brand establishment, and before you have the return on investment with very thin margins on every vehicle, you look into 10, 15 years of payback period if the numbers are coming.
China's EV makers also face increasing competition. Traditional automakers are entering the EV market, and Tesla itself has become the first foreign car maker to have a wholly owned factory in China.
And that it's getting more and more bloody now, with Volkswagen's launching their ID3, ID4, Volkswagen fully going into electric. Ford have to follow. General Motors have to follow. Toyota will have to follow.
The key catalyst here is the traditional auto players coming into the scene with their own EV product, and you should not underestimate their manufacturing experience, their ability to drive the cost of their EV down.
Developing overseas market requires intensive investment in sales network and after sales networks. So I don't think this EV startup will have the spare cash to do so. For markets like Europe and US, I would say in the near term, local brands are more likely to receive strong policy support and subsidies. So it will be difficult for Chinese EV startup to grab large shares in these markets.